It's been 406 days. This is the 406th day of our 21-day lockdown, which was announced on, I don't know, March 2020.
पूरे देश में आज रात 12 बजे से संपूर्ण देश में संपूर्ण लॉकडाउन होने जा रहा है।
Stuck at home during lockdown. This is the second wave of corona, by the way, and frankly, I'm running out of ideas to do anything.
We look at how the pandemic is affecting the mental health of college students. Students have long been prone to stress, anxiety, and depression. According to the CDC, 3 out of 4 Americans between the ages of 18 and 24 report poor mental health tied to the pandemic.
It's really frustrating, to sit down in a house surrounded by the same 4 walls every day, not being able to go out or even hang out with your friends. But then I realized maybe I'm not the only one who's feeling this way. Maybe there are others, who feel the same way as me. So I asked around a few friends, and each of them had a different perspective.
The beginning of the pandemic, although I was scared, I did consider it to be something like a month-long holiday with my family where I could, spend some quality time with them. And it was a break for me after like a year-long hustle in Bangalore. But right now, me personally, and I am seeing quite a few others as well, getting very restless, and for good reason. I personally feel like I would have been a lot more productive if I was in Bangalore and not stuck at home and with this entire situation around me. But that being said, this is also for the greater good.
Some of them had plans, some of them had things to look forward to.
In the initial stages of the pandemic, I looked at it as a well needed break, a time for me to introspect and get things going that I'd been putting off for long. And there was always a driving and motivational factor for me because I always look forward to the day everything would go back to normal and I could actually meet the people that I couldn't hang out with. And now it's just become very hopeless and living each day as it comes. And as pessimistic as that sounds, it's all very real. The mental distress everybody's facing, it's very real, and we're just here.
Some of us even think that it's a goddamn apocalypse outside.
So my experience since the beginning of the pandemic and to now has been extremely different. In the beginning, we all thought it would last maybe a couple of weeks, and it seemed like something different, something that we just had to face together and we'd be past it. And now it's been over a year, and it's unreal how much life has changed for everybody. And it's like an impending doom to think that we don't know when this is all going to end. So it's really hard to deal with, and I don't know what lies ahead anymore.
And for some, home really wasn't just home,
The location I was in played a huge role on how I saw this pandemic. Why I tell this is because I just hate my hometown. I just hate coming back home. And during the initial months of the pandemic, I was staying with my sister and my friends and all the people whom I could connect and vibe with. So everything that was happening around me didn't bother me much. I know I sound like a prick when I say this, but this is how it was. And now that I have come back home and have literally no one to talk to, I can see my mental health rapidly and exponentially declining. And now I just don't know what to say anymore.
And for others, being stuck in a room was just something they're used to by now.
I had planned a lot, expected a lot to happen in my college life. But the pandemic happened, and throughout, I was expecting things to change, things to go back to normal. I also felt it was unfair as I had to stay back home, just like we all did during pandemic for the past 4 years consecutively, and this year being the fifth for various reasons. When the second wave hit, I think I built better coping mechanisms that I can try explaining in 2 ways, as they are not something I consciously built. One, if it weren't for these 2 years, nothing else can tell this generation or anyone that we do not live in times that our parents promised. Normal college life or anything normal. Not all things we planned won't happen as we planned. But that doesn't mean we need to be hopeless about the future. We can still do our planning, think about good times we could be in, but not live in them. Be ready to improvise and try to stay in the present. So basically, it is a bit torturous, like to stay back at home for a very long time, but you would end up being glad that you went through all that, because you get to understand things better. You do get frustrated, but you'll end up with a great understanding of a lot of things. It's a bit vague, but I really can't explain it. It's just how I felt.
And it's not just us college students that feel this way. There are plenty of school kids who feel the same way, who feel the same frustration, who are not able to concentrate on their studies anymore.
COVID was a really big change because it gave me a lot of time to play games, in PC and stuff. And actually, my concentration on academics, studies were really bad because I started playing games and did not concentrate on studies. I really hope that I would have concentrated much on studies because it is really hard to listen to classes and complete my assignments and stuff now.
And while some didn't even care that there was a pandemic out there in the world.
So when the lockdown started, I panicked. I was scared about the virus and I locked myself at home. But now I'm carefree. I really don't care about the virus. I go out every single day. I play with my friends. I don't socially distance from them. But I was really scared back then, but I'm not scared now.
The frustration of not being able to be creative, of not being able to, be the best of my abilities, and not being able to put out what I want. I want to put out stuff like films or even this documentary, I would say. And this documentary is not just my frustration, but the frustration of teenagers and kids and people who are full of energy my age, who have been stuck at home for a year, not being able to do anything for multiple reasons. Government incompetency, or just the sheer negligence of people of following basic COVID norms. It's just, it's just really frustrating.